everyone, and welcome to Becca is Stitching. I'm Becca. That's my handle on YouTube and Instagram. Welcome if you are coming back, and welcome if you're new here. I know I have quite a few new people thanks to Pam and Steph's awesome shout out of Just Keep Stitching. And they gave a really good overview of me and my channel, but just quickly, I'm 30 years old. I live in the Virginia, like Northern Virginia, DMV, like DC area. And I have a dog who often makes her appearance, Daphne. She likes to sit next to me in her bed and chew on some chew toys every once in a while. I also have a cat named Diana who sometimes just likes to walk in the room and shout her presence. So I'm sure you'll hear / see her every once in a while in a video. I also live with my husband of a couple years. We got married in 2021, so however many years that is. And thanks, Steph, for being offended on my behalf about this sweater. So I'm gonna put a picture here of my husband displaying the sweater that was for him. I know when I wore it last week, it looked comically large, but it does fit him very well. I'm just 5 feet tall. He's over 6 feet tall, and he's got way broader shoulders than I do. So he's very excited that he has it. He's only been able to wear it once, and then it got too warm here. Realistically, not too warm, but too warm to wear a kind of heavy wool sweater. So yeah, that was an exciting shout out this past week, and we will just get right into things. One thing from my last video, I was talking about the silk that I had tried for the first time, and like a dum-dum, I was not using Dinky Dye silk last week. I was using Bestitch Me silk, and I didn't like to use it, as so many of you very kindly pointed out to me in the comment section. And Megan of the Seattle Stitcher, who's amazing, please go watch her. And she mentioned that she really likes Dinky Dyes. So I had to tell her that, hey, I don't know if I do because I've never actually used them. And when Megan says she likes something, I have to just take that on faith. So I bought quite a few Dinky Dye silks to actually try. So I had this pattern in my stash. It's called the Herb Garden by the Drawn Thread, and you're gonna get kind of a glare. And these pictures are honestly just not good for the Drawn Thread. But this calls for several Dinky Dye silks. It calls for thread gatherer silken colors, and some NPI silks. So I thought many of you offered up really good suggestions of like how to try out some different silks. So easily influenced once again, I was watching Annie of XO Needle in the Hay XO and Liz of not Elizabeth Ankensich. Oh, what is Hello from Liz Matthews. Oh my gosh, okay. I was watching their joint videos, and Annie lovingly influenced me because I was looking at these silks, and she reminded me that Lindy Stitches does the buy 5 get 1 free. So I put an order. I got in the Dinky Dyes for this project because I already had it. And when I first got it, I didn't understand really anything about like threads and everything. So when I went to go kit it up, I was like, all of those NPIs, all of those silks, holy moly, that's gonna cost a lot of money. And then I realized, okay, I can swap out most of those NPIs with just DMC. Because I wanted to try the Dinky Dyes, I got the Dinky Dyes. I also picked up the Silken Colors. And I have another one on the way. They didn't, 123 Stitch didn't have it. So I did pick up this from them. And then also from Lindy Stitches, I'm all over the place today. As part of their buy 5, get 1 free, I also picked up a Classic Colorworks Belle Soie in the color Grape Juice. I thought this was lovely, and I think I'm going to, a potential for this specific thread is either Jacob of Modern Folks Embroidery bookmark. I'll put a picture here. It's from the Spellbound Stitches collection that they did last year, where they you donate to a charity, send them proof that you donate to that charity, and this was like for literacy. So you could, you know, donate to something that provided books to prisoners, or something that provided books to different communities, right? So I did that. I got the collection, and I haven't stitched anything yet. So I thought this could be a good color for this bookmark here. But I also bought these ones just because they were pretty. So I could do it in either of these colors. Let's see if I can get that. Yeah, those are good. In either of these colors, I think that would be awesome. On even like a dark fabric. But I got this one specifically in mind for Got the Morbs, which I've been thinking about doing for a while now, and I haven't done a modern folk embroidery yet. High up on my list. So I want to do Got the Morbs. Fruits of Plenty is one of those ones that I think takes everybody's breath away when they see it. So I got that. I also got an NPI silk to try. So I have 4 different kinds of silk now to try. So I'm thinking of starting that drawn thread piece during the Lindy Stitches Nash Stash event. I didn't buy anything from Nashville Needlework Market. There wasn't anything that was like super high up on my list, or anything that I wasn't willing to wait for. So, you know, I'm still gonna go, obviously. I'm gonna go have a great time. You guys should definitely think about going if you haven't gone to any of her events yet. They're so much fun. So I did all of that. And the other thing, I almost forgot about this, that Annie influenced me on was these thread glosses. So it's Ponderosa thread gloss. Lindy Stitches carries them, and this is the Equinox blend. Oh my god, it smells so good. Like Christmas. It's delightful. I love this. So I got this one, honestly, just to have it. When she was like, oh, it's like aromatherapy, I was like, yeah, I could have some of that just sitting there, and, you know, it's like having a candle burning, except not a candle, would probably last a lot longer. So yeah, so I did end up getting all those silks. Thank you for all your recommendations of what to do with them. And I'm excited to try them out. The feel of them is all so different. Like these two, the Belle Soie and the Silken colors, they feel very similar, but these ones feel like smoother almost. And this one is like the closest, I don't know. This one is like somewhere in between these two in like the hand feel. So I'm very interested to see how these stitch up. And I'm probably gonna do this drawn thread piece on a 40 count so I can do 1/1 and still get pretty good coverage. If you think that's a bad idea after using silks, let me know, because I don't wanna, you know, set myself up for disaster. But yeah, so I spent a little chunk of change on that this month, but that's okay. I really want to try them, and I want to know what I think about silks again to like make more informed decisions going forward on different projects. Yeah, I think that was it for that. Okay, so the other thing, the giveaway. I still have not heard back from the 2 other giveaway winners, so I picked new giveaway winners right here on the screen. I forgot to write down your names, but I did pick them. So you will have until my next video in 2 weeks. If by then, I know I'm giving you a short amount of time, but I'm creeping perilously close to 2,000 subscribers. So once I hit that, I'm going to do a new giveaway. So if I haven't heard back from you by next video, I'm just gonna create a new giveaway and like just make it bigger than this one. But let me know, please email me. My email is below, and I will get you your Mirabilia pattern if you want one. I mean, if you want a different pattern, I'm not gonna, as long as it's like $15, $20, I don't care. Get what you want, stitch what you want, right? Whatever makes you happy. But yeah, so new giveaway winners, and hopefully a new giveaway next week. We will see. Okay, so I haven't been stitching quite as much. My husband and I have been like being more active. We've always wanted to go to the Pacific Northwest and like see all of the nature, everything, but we're so woefully out of body endurance to last on hikes and like do all of the things that we really want to do out in the Pacific Northwest. So in order to plan for a trip that we're hopefully going to do, you know, go to Portland and Seattle and just kind of like see all the nature stuff in between, obviously stop by Acorns and Threads. Anyway, yeah, so we are building up our endurance, taking more hikes, doing more, I'm starting to run, doing more Pilates, all the things. I've just been tired, just been really, really tired, trying to get my body back, to being able to do sustained motions and all of that stuff. Once the, pandemic hit, I feel like I personally use that as an excuse to stay in, sit down and not do anything. And my anxiety levels are better when I'm more active. So all that to say, maybe not as much stitching as I would normally have, but daylight savings time too. Whew. Okay, that one hit me harder this year than it usually does. So that's okay. I've just been tired. I've been getting some sleep, but there's still plenty to show you. My FFO plans are on hold. So I know that earlier I had mentioned that I want to FFO one project a month for the whole year. That's just right now not feasible because I think in the next year or two we will be moving, and I would rather have a stack of finished whips than a stack of fully finished frames when that happens. And I know we will be moving at some point within the next 2 years, maybe 3 years, but even so, I can wait that long to fully finish something and put it up on a wall. I've got plenty of decorations as it is, and I still enjoy the process of stitching regardless. So, I'll finish some things, I'll do some soft finishes still, but you probably won't see as much, and I'm gonna stop mentioning that as a goal because it's not anymore. Okay, now we will finally get into whips. So the first thing that I worked on was Succubus, and I have new, you'll see it right here. So I tried to put most of the details here. That way, if I forget something, you won't miss it, and it'll be easier for me to just insert one photo with all the information than all the individual photos and everything. So I thought that would be easier. Let me know what you think. If you hate it, also let me know. If the color's too much or whatever the case may be, let me know what you think. But so it should have, I don't know which side it's going to be on, doesn't matter. It should have the picture of the finished object and where you saw it in my last video. I need to slow down. I'm very apparently excited today and just, I don't know what's going on, but that's okay. So since my last video, I did about 1,300 or 1,400 stitches. So I definitely did another column, and then I started this column right here. So last time that you guys saw this, I had finished this full first 100 by 100 square that I like to work in, and then I moved the Q-snap. So it'll stay in this Q-snap until I get 10 more columns here. So another 100 by 100 block, because I work in columns of 10 by 100 stitches. So yeah, pulling that in a little bit closer, we're getting more of that horn in, and we're gonna start to see that moon come in as well, which I think is very exciting. I'm putting less pressure on myself because I think just listing those goals, I know I had stretch and what did I call them? My main goal, my stretch goal for these, I'm just gonna stitch on them as I feel like it. And I think at the end of the year, I'm gonna add it all up and see where I ended up, rather than making myself feel bad about not keeping up or getting too far ahead and being oh, I don't wanna get too far ahead of my goal, which is crazy, but yeah. So I'm not gonna mention that either, but this is currently at 3.15%. I mean, it's coming along. We'll get there someday. That's fine. And next up, I had a new start. So my whip go goal, and I had talked about this last week, was to do a mill hill. I have not done the other whip go goal, is to make a project bag, and I discussed that last week. I haven't gotten there yet. That's okay. We will next time, hopefully. Yeah, so what I ended up doing is I did put an order in, right? 2, 1, 2, 3 stitch. So I did end up purchasing the one that I talked about and the one I really like. I'll hold that up a little bit. That's a fun shadow. So yeah, so this is one of their new ones this year of the spring collection, and it's beautiful. It's MH142515 Waterfall. It's pretty. I mean, I love those springy colors in there. And this is like the first button I've seen that I might actually use. It's this cute little turtle, and it actually looks like the cover image. So I think they're finally, like, with the new designs, they're matching up with the new buttons that they're using, and there's not like that weird disconnect between the new buttons that they switched over to and like the older designs getting like a close match, and most of the buttons are just like not very good in my opinion. They're just like, whether it's an old kit or a new kit, the buttons can sometimes just like be wonky, and I'm like, oh, why would I want that on my thing? I rarely ever put the buttons on there for that reason. It might just be me, but either way, so I have this one. I didn't start it, but I wanted it in my collection. I knew someday I'd want to stitch it, so I did buy it. But then I did start the white orchid, and by start I mean half a thread. I also made a cute little project board today. I just glued some batting on some mat board and put some fabric over it, mainly because this one, there's no good way to show it because it's perforated paper. So I got part of a length of floss in there, but honestly, for a mill hill, like half the battle is just getting it started and organizing your floss. So yeah, I'll just show that real quick. Not much. You'll see more next week. And a lot of what I did was organize my floss. So this is how I organize my mill hills. My husband makes these for me, and I've got some that just have one side. So like this side would be solid, and there's just the like 10 holes. This one has 9 on each side, so it's got 18 slots, which is usually like the perfect amount for the number of colors in a mill hill. So this is all of my flosses that I will need, all here, sorted, ready to go. And that's how I kit up a lot of my stuff. So I work from a master DMC set, bobbinated in those like plastic not tubs, but like whatever, with the you know what I'm talking about, whatever. I'll show them later. And I will, for something I'm kitting up, this is something else that I have kitted up. So I will just take like a length of floss or 2 lengths of floss, depending, and just put it on here. And then when the project is done, if I have any less, I just put it back in the bobbin boxes. And some things, if it's a short turnaround, like my sals, I'll just work directly from the boxes, because I know I'm gonna finish it in like one or 2 sittings, and there's no reason for me to like spend the time kitting it up and like moving stuff around when I'm gonna be done with it very quickly. So yeah, so this is in one of my kits, and then it's got this with it. So if it's one of these fancy flosses, I'll usually just keep it on the tag that it comes on. If that breaks, I have my husband also print me like some floss drops with his 3D printer. Yeah, I just wanted to like let you guys know how I kind of kit things up, because it's not, I know a lot of people do like a full skein of floss and like put full skeins of floss in each of their project bags, and in my mind that's like far too wasteful, because I might not use the whole skein, but then I'm not going to know how much I have left for years. Personally, that's how my brain thinks. I just don't like it. Hi, do you want to come up? You want to say hi? Hi, this is Diana. Just remember, you crawled up my leg, not the other way around. She's gonna be mad at me, but that's okay. That's my cat. Yeah, probably a good stopping point on how I kit things up. That's fine. And I kit my full coverages up differently, which maybe I'll discuss later. You need to go though. This is too much. Thank you. Thank you for your presence. Okay. Yes, so the next thing that I worked on, and I got to a really good spot with this is my thread a day project. So this is the Reluctant Sovereign. Of course, I'll have right here what it's going to look like and where I was last time and other details. So this is stitched 2/1, called for flosses on 32 count graceful gray Witchelt. And I hit the 50% mark. So I'm a little over my thread a day, but yesterday I had done my thread for the day, and I was like, you are like 3 threads away from 50% and a like nerd hoop move. So I finished it up, And this is the top half of the design, which means I was also able to cut the bottom off. So I didn't have all of that thread just rolled up at the bottom. All of that fabric rolled up at the bottom. But isn't she looking so good? So we have the beginning of the sunflower over here coming in. She's starting to come in. I'm at the top of her big giant bell sleeve. Got the telescope, almost called it a microscope. That's definitely a telescope. And I have one thread still in there. That's okay. I didn't have anywhere room to go with it in the nerge, so I just kind of left it. But yeah, so these will come down. I've got like 3 more strands left, maybe 5. I've got like 250 more stitches to do in the yellow. That's exciting. It's looking so good. I'm excited to put this back on and keep doing thread a day. I'm really just like pushing through it. So since you last saw it, I've done 1,266 stitches. And so it is now at 55.24%. And once I'm done with this as a thread a day, I will probably move on to my dragon just because I feel like that's the easiest one to finish next. And it would be good to just knock that one out. I have so many needle lot design patterns I just want to get to, so. And how I decide what I'm working on is I typically will only have 1 pattern per designer active. So like I currently have a Mirabilia. I won't start another Mirabilia until Winter Queen is done. But yeah, so she's looking so good. Ooh, floppy. That's okay. And it gave me a good opportunity to iron her again because she was scraggly. Oh, that's the other thing. So when I have scraps of fabric, this is what I do with them. So if I have finished a project, I cut off the excess, I will measure it, put what it is on this so I don't forget. I clearly didn't finish filling this one out. Not with the color name or the dyer, but that's okay. Or the manufacturer, I guess in this case. But I like to have the dimensions on there. That way, like as I'm looking for a new piece, especially if it's like a small piece or like a medium-sized piece, I want to just like be able to look up how big of a piece I need. And then it's way easier to look at the dimensions without having to like pull it out and measure it at the time. So this is what I do with my scraps. I thought that was, something cool to show you. Considering this is already scrap fabric from my Templar Prophecy Long Jog sampler I finished last year. Okay, next up is of course my Secret Grove project. So I'm gonna put up where it was last time. And I was able to finish the newest part. So I only have 3 parts of this left. And I think, okay, so out of all of the ones, we have like about 4,000 stitches left in the project, based on, what she, like the count she gave us at the start of it. So here we go. So we added our little rabbit here. So this is Zephyr. I think that's how you say it. He was a stitch dense boy. He was 2,217 stitches. Lots of colors, but he looks fantastic. So part 10 is going to be right here. So it's going to be kind of like, so this section we had the feather and just this timepiece, and that was all that was in that section. So it's going to be kind of like that. And then we have another section right here. And then I believe there's another section right here. So the next 3 sections are actually all going to be, smaller at least compared to the one that I just finished. And we are getting closer to the finish on this. So this will still be active by the time Lola Crow comes out with her Extraordinary Bird Sow. So the frame for that, of course I have already purchased that. I've done the last 2 and I definitely have plans to do the Haunted Library. You can see both the ones that I finished in my finish parade, but I really only want to do one like stitch heavy Sal at a time. And that one, the frame comes out, I think, April 4th. So pretty soon, actually, and I plan on stitching it right away. This is like every 3 weeks a part comes out for this. So the final part for this will come out, I think, a week before the first feet. So she calls each of her drops like something different. It's like that. So for the Greenhouse of Oddities, it was like the first planting. So these ones are called feets. So this will be done before the first feet comes out. So as long as I can get the frame fully done, I'll be happy. And I think I can manage to do it, and there won't be too much overlap between this Sal and that Sal. But this is now at a total of 13,617 stitches. This is by Needle-Lot Designs, and this is her first stitch along. I'm hoping she does another one at some point. Her designs are just so beautiful. And it's on 36 count, 2/2, because it's linen. In the color French Lilac by Picture This Plus. So, I mean, the stitching is very, very dense. And are my stitches perfect? No, not even a little bit. But it looks, from a distance especially, that pop of, like, the saturation level of 2/1 on 36 count, you just can't beat it. So I do these ones and the Lola Crow ones, both in that 2/1 on 36 count. I love how they look. Speaking of 2/1 on 36 count, I also purchased in that order, which is another reason why I decided to go ahead and put the order in. I ordered my fabric for the Extraordinary Bird Sal. I'm just kind of wishy-washy, like there is no delineation between my segments today, apparently. So I got this color. This is Fiber on a Whim, 36 count, linen, right? Yep, just had to make sure. In the color Heather. So it's a really like light purpley gray. And so her recommendation was like the sandbar, which I'll put it, I don't know if I'll put a picture of it, but it was like light blues with like tans, very splotchy. And I was like, I just don't want to stitch on that personally. I'm sure it's gonna look great. But she mentioned, like, obviously she came out with the floss list, and she came out with what colors it could look good on, and gray was one of them. And I thought gray with a little purple in it would be perfect, and really just kind of let the bird shine. Like, that's the other thing. I don't want the fabric to be so like mottled and crazy for me and what I want. If you want something different, by all means, please do that. But I want the birds to really stand out, and I love Fiber on a Whim's like light modeling, and their linen is great. So yeah, that's just, you know, quick what else I ordered in the list. Yeah. Moving on. Okay, so I did get some work in on my stocking, and thankfully I am done with the boring part of this stocking. So this is Dimensions Gold Collection stocking. I'm doing one for all the members of my family. This is for my older sister's husband. And this is Santa's Journey stocking. Of course, you'll have all the information up here, but it's 18 count, all the called for, whatever. Not 18 count, it's 36 count linen. So actually my graphic might be wrong. That's okay. 36 count linen, equivalent to an 18 count that came in the kit, because I do not use the kit fabric. But I finished the background, I got in that little house, and I started in the tree. So it's gonna be much more exciting now to stitch on this. And I finally got out of this, like those long swaths of color. Sometimes that can be really relaxing, and sometimes it's just boring. And I was finding this very boring. But when I started on the other parts, I was really excited to keep going. So of course this is gonna come out again and just keep working on it. I'm hoping to get this done this year. My goal and my pace is to get one family stocking done a year. So I've got to ramp up my movement on this one actually, so I can get this done and get her like get this one and my sister's fully finished before Christmas. That is my ultimate goal. Like I want to finish them together. So like my younger sisters and her husbands, I'll try to do over the next 2 years, and they'll get them, you know, when the second one is done. So happy to be out of the boring part so I can get some more good progress on this one. All right, so next is temperature stitching. And temperature stitching, a lot of people are doing it right now, which is great because it is very fun. And I'll put up a picture of like kind of like the guide that I'm using. And what I'm doing is I'm only doing it once a week. So I'll work on 2 patterns that are outside of my normal like whip rotation for the week. And I will work on them for just an hour. So I take on Sundays, I look at what the high temperature is going to be for the week, and whatever the second digit like equates to on my list, I will then stitch that piece. So I stitched on Dragon, and on this one I got in 431 stitches, and it's at 68.93%. So this is by Needle Lot Designs. It's on 32 count sand by Picture This Linen, Picture This Plus. 2/1 called for. I did change this variegated DMC color just to tone it down a little bit for my personal preferences, but it's looking really good. And I think this is why it would be such a good candidate for like a thread a day, because there's not a lot of colors in this. And again, I'm already at almost 70%. I just feel like this will finish up so quickly if I do that once Reluctant Sovereign is done. So yeah, with temperature stitching, I've been focused on this border because it's like the easiest way to like, okay, just pick a strand and just go. And I've been able to make a lot of progress in that. I went a little over an hour because on these ones, I will not leave a hanging thread because I don't know when it's gonna get called again, and I just don't wanna leave that for too long. Because I've had this happen before. I'll leave a hanging thread, I'll put it away for like 2 months, and then when I come back, I try to pull the thread and leave it out the back so I can like take a picture of it usually, and then I'll just start stitching again, and then sometimes I've turned it around after I've, you know, been stitching for a little bit and realized that the one that I had left hanging was like wound up and tangled in the one that I had just put in. So I try not to do that anymore. I can't be trusted. So, but yeah, any progress is progress, and I like pulling out some different pieces just to get a little bit of progress in on them. I didn't think I would like that, but I've been enjoying that immensely. Okay, so my second temperature stitch was Hobbit House, and I'll put that up right now. So that was part of the Fabulous Houses series. It was the 5th one from Cottage Garden Samplings, and this is all called for, and this is where I'm at. So this is 1/1 on 40 count. This is On Thin Ice by Live and Die LA. It's a very light blue. So I was able to get in the bricks around this top window, start on the bricks going down here, and get that outline for the window up there. And I love this piece so much. Cottage Garden Samplings in general is just something I really enjoy the process of stitching. I don't know if I left that up long enough. Oh, just hitting myself. So pretty. You'll see in the picture, there are, I think they're here. There are little pigs, but they're like, compared to the fabric, they're just like white. So initially I thought they were sheep, but they're very clearly pigs. So I am gonna bump up the pink color on those. I just haven't fully decided to what color yet. Also in the flowers around the border, there's a really light color next to that kind of deeper pink, and I'm considering changing that to like a medium tone pink just to make the flowers really pop in the border. I don't know, what do you think? Because I don't want the border to overtake the piece, but I really think those light springy flowers are just so pretty. And I don't want that like lighter color to get lost. I don't know. Time will tell. But yeah, so those were my whips this week. Temperature stitching really just gives me more to talk about here too, even though it's not a ton of progress. It makes me feel a little better that I have more things to talk about every 2 weeks. Because right now I really like the every other week pace. So plans for next week, the next 2 weeks. Work on my mill hill for probably 3 more days because I barely count that first half a strand I put in. There won't be any more Secret Grove because the next release comes out, I believe, the day I'd be filming. So I'll know what it looks like, but I won't have gotten any stitches in. I'm definitely doing my stocking, my thread a day. I've already talked about Stash Fest. I'll definitely be going. I probably am going to start the drawn thread piece, but who knows what's going to happen. I may also start the Owl Forest, one of the Owl Forests I mentioned last time. We'll see. Whatever. Maybe I'll start both. I don't know. They're both like fully kitted up, stocked, and ready. So, is Daddy home? Hi, is Daddy home? Go get him. I think Daddy's home. My dog doesn't bark, but she makes the most annoying whimper in the entire world when she's excited about something. Go get him. So we'll pause, say hello to the husband. All right, I'm back. My husband is home. First time I'm filming with him in the house, so that's not awkward at all. I don't remember where I left off before my dog started whining, but Nash Fest, sign up for that, or Nash Stash Fest. I don't know. Go to lindystitches.com and she'll have the link for it. The other thing is we have our next Stitchy Day in Culpeper. There's a bunch of us that meet up there. Jessie Marie does stuff, Shenandoah Valley Stitcher, the Hiking Stitcher, Stitching Across the Continents, Griffin Stitcher. So, you know, between YouTube and Instagram, we got a lot of people there. And we're meeting on March 23rd in Culpeper. If you need any of the information, let me know. I can get you the address. And I think we're meeting there around 1. I think next time I'm going to bring the Hobbit house with me to work on. So our last one, I brought Butterfly Bouquet. And the one before that, I brought my last stocking finish that I had from last year. Or the stocking that I was working on last year, I brought that one. Oh, WhipGo. I'll put up a picture of what my WhipGo board looks like. I'm swapping out 2 of them, I think. So I have on there full coverage and stocking, and those get worked on every month no matter what. So I'm switching those over to Fancy Ladies because for whatever reason, I love them. I want to finish my Mirabilia and I want to finish my Bella Filipina, but I just cannot, like, I just don't pull them out because I feel like I need like a lot of time to like sink my teeth into them. And it's easier to pick up like Hobbit House or Dragon where it's a little simpler. I don't know. So I'm switching those out and I'm just gonna have 3 blocks for a Fancy Lady because I already got called one of like the only one that was there in January, and that's just not enough. Anyway, so that's all for stitching. I feel like I've kind of been all over the place today. And that's just the way it is right now. We're making it through. Knitting. So I did get some more work on my storm sweater. I blocked it I put the collar in last time and then I blocked it so I could get a good idea of what it was gonna look like. So this is the storm sweater by Petite Knit. I'm knitting the size extra large. I went up a needle size, so I'm stitching this on US 7s, I believe. I didn't have a small enough cable in size 5, because you usually go down 2 sizes to the neck. So I did this in just a size 6. It looks fine. So I added that in. I blocked it after this row because the rest of the sweater is a full repeat of the of like those 4 sections all the way to the bottom, and then the ribbing at the bottom. And I wanted to see what the length was gonna look like because I have a very short torso. I'm 5 feet tall, and I don't like the look of my sweaters when they fall to my hips and are like tight to my hips. I just don't like the silhouette of that on me. So what I think I'm gonna do, I wanted to block it to see what it blocked out to. And I think what I'm gonna do based on the dimensions, I think I'm going to leave off this last diagonal block at the end. So I've added in this row, and then I started on this, what is this row at the bottom. So I'm actually getting pretty close if those are like the dimensions that I'm using. And this is in Drops Daisy, which is 100% extra fine merino wool in the color Marzipan. So yeah, so once I'm done with that, I'll just go on to the sleeves, but I'm excited to get this and wear it. I did start another project, but that is a secret knit, and it's going to be a gift for my sister who does watch this. So I just decided not to show it. So I did work quite a bit on that one. Oh, my father-in-law and his husband are coming to visit us over the next 2 weeks as well. And if we go to Fredericksburg at all, I may have to convince them to go to a yarn store with me and pick up a skein of yarn to start some more socks because I really enjoy knitting those socks and I want to do another pair. Okay, that's it for knitting. Much less than last week. I did a lot of knitting on the secret project. So books, I finished 5 books again over the last 2 weeks, so I'll put those up here. I am reading one of these books on here, and it's a currently read to. It's a really long series, the Anita Blake series. It's my guilty pleasure read. I've read the whole series. I mean, she's still coming out with books. They're smutty, low plot, really the only thing of its kind that I do read. I'm not huge into that, but I feel like I read them so long ago and now it's just such a comfort read for me, honestly. And I tend to, at this point, just skip over the smut scenes and only read for plots. They don't take that long to read through. So those are like my before bed Kindle reads. I like to have 3 books on the go. So I'll have like a Kindle book that I can read before bed, because if I fall asleep with a Kindle in my hand, I don't run the risk of dropping a whole book on my head. The physical book I'm reading is The Road of Bones. And I really kind of just started this. I had to take the dust jacket off, so the book is upstairs. But it's pretty long. It's like over 500 pages. Definitely like Viking inspired from what I can tell. It's good so far. I'm not too far into it. And then my audio book that I'm reading is Ministry of Time. That's been pretty good too. So I'm, working on those ones right now. Oh, of the books that I did put up, I've been on a weird romantasy kick lately. This is not indicative. I do not read this much romantasy. Usually I'm much more of like a high fantasy, like mythology based reader. I mean, I read kind of across the board. Like I read romance every once in a while, thriller every once in a while, horror. But my main thing is high fantasy. So I plan on finishing some of these books now. And then the 3rd book in the Legendborn cycle by Tracy Deonn came out. So once I'm done with these, I think I'm going to finish off the Wolf Hall or Wolf Den trilogy. Just to like finish that one off, and then I'm gonna go into that. So bring back some, and that's not high fantasy, but bring back some fantasy. That's not romantasy. It's kind of romantasy. Maybe I don't want to read that next. I don't know. That's beyond the point. I'm reading a lot, having a good time. And that's what matters. Although I didn't have a good time with Dagger in the Flame. That's like romantasy, and I've got to be more careful when I pick those up, especially through Book of the Month, because they'll classify them as romantasy, but it's like YA romantasy, and those just do not hit for me. Especially, I read that one with an audio book, and I'm too old to listen to teenagers fall in love, I think. If it's too much. I don't know. Just word of caution to myself to be more careful when I'm picking those up. Playing. I have been playing Coral Island. Still playing Horizon Zero Dawn, but Coral Island I just started. And if you like Animal Crossing and Stardew, it's like a mix of those with better graphics. It's a little buggy, but it's really fun. So I've been doing that in the meantime, and that's honestly, I think, it. I guess I didn't have much to film after my husband came home, which is good, because I'm feeling weird, and I feel like you can hear it in my voice, how weird I feel. He's home now. So with that, I'll be back in 2 weeks. Giveaway winners, please get back to me below, or we're just gonna scratch that giveaway and start fresh whenever I hit 2,000. So, oh, real quick, I bought 2 cones of DMC. That was another reason for 123 Stitch order. I've got like 150,000 of this, of 939 to go on Farewell to Lothlorien, so that felt good. And then 310, oh my god, I use so much 310, as do we all. So I picked up a cone of that too. And that's it, I promise. So have the best day that you can, do something for yourself today, and I'll see you next time. Bye.